Welcome, welcome, welcome. I need to do this. There you are. Welcome, everybody online. This is the last Sunday of 2024. I know we never believed we'd get here, but we are, and it's special because God is with us. So let's move along to our call to worship, and that was that we are here and we are ready to begin. That means that just spun, and this is one of the days of Hanukkah.
Tonight will be the fifth night.
It is the fifth night, she says, and she's going to give us the prayer and lighting of the Hanukkah candle.
Yeah, give me a second. I think YouTube started early. Okay. I'm gonna play the prayers on here because I couldn't remember them. Yeah, I don't know how to do it. Can you hold it and then play it? Okay. So tonight's the fifth night of Hanukkah. Tonight is the fifth night of Hanukkah. It's when we celebrate the oil lasting for 8 days when it should have only lasted for 1. I'm going to light the shamash real quick if I can get it to work. Or not. How do you do it? Oh, I press down. Okay. See if we can get it to light. Okay. Then press play. Yeah.
Hanukkah Sameach, Happy Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavoteinu, bayamim ha'el b'azman hazeh.
Thank you. Yep. I don't know. I think we're good. Huh?
Are you going to say the prayer?
That was the prayer.
Ah,
Those
You
were the
sang it
prayers.
through.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Someone else sang the
I need-
prayers because I couldn't remember the melody.
And now we're going to let Annamarie Melodia give us the message. I am just thrilled to have her in this wonderful Sunday where we're going to do a burning bowl ceremony. Barrel would be a lot of what I would throw in myself. So let's have her come up.
Good morning. Good morning. So, and I don't have Sherman with me. So again, y'all know by now that I don't have Sherman. I have a high level of anxiety about being here, right? So everyone say hi, Sherman. Hi, Sherman. Okay. For those of you who don't know, Sherman is my little good luck guy. But anyway, good morning, my beautiful PSC family. Happy holidays. Hopefully you've had a joyful holiday, whatever your tradition may be. I know mine was full of love and light and just happiness and joy. You know, and now I can't believe we are literally poised on the precipice of a new year. It's the 29th. 2025 is literally a breath away. And I don't know about you, but I usually have a lot of angst around this time of year because I'm thinking about my New Year's resolutions. And as a part of that process, I normally start a brand new journal, right? Because in that journal, I'm going to write about all my successes, how I'm accomplished my New Year's resolutions, all of my grand stuff, joyful adventures. And I've had, over the years, big journals, little journals, gratitude journals, ever since I was a little girl, and I've kept them all. I can't find my car keys, but I have all of my journals. You know, and so I thought, you know, it was a rainy day the other day. Why don't I kind of go through them and see how far I've evolved? You know, and I did kind of a quick survey, and I looked at those from my teenage angst years to more of my current mid or upper life crisis years. And I was kind of surprised about what I found, because each one started off strong. Yes, this is going to be the best year ever. Right? We've all done that. We're going to leave the past behind, face forward, and it's going to be about hopefulness, excited, being grateful. And as I got further into them, the story changed. The pattern changed. And yeah, there were some cool moments kind of interspersed. Ooh, got a new puppy. But then, generally speaking, they de-evolved, particularly in March and April, to really, how do I put this? To become kind of a documentary of my own unworthiness or my unprettiness, my lack of movement towards my resolutions. I just can't get it together. Now, anyone feel the same way? Okay. May not have written them down in a journal, but we get to that point, it's like, why did we even bother? And so as I started to really think about my message today, I started to really think about those negative messages that I've carried with me all of these years, whether written down or in my heart. And if I truly believe that words have power, I gave up that power to be the author of my own story. And I let others write it for me. I was never good enough, you're not good enough, you're not tall enough. You know those litanies. Anyway. So I thought this year, instead of worrying about my New Year's resolutions, I'm going to try something new. Because those New Year's resolutions come from a place of deficit, don't they? Right? Of weakness, of things that we want to change, by golly, because we're broken in some way or the other. And so I thought, instead of doing that this year, I'm going to embrace something new, embrace a position of power and a powerful truth that I've forgotten over the years. That I am the author of my own story, right? I am the author of my own story. And the beautiful thing is, as spiritualists, we know that we have free will. We have a choice to decide what we want that story to be like. We have a choice of how we want to write that great and interesting stories, because when you think about it, great stories are told and retold time and time again, right? Those beautiful stories that come from the heart, that are lessons, and they're remembered. And they're stories that, oh man, that are so great, they seem to leap off of the page as you read them or hear them. It makes your heart jump when they're really good stories, right? They're stories that spark imagination. They entertain us and they teach us lessons. Those are the stories that I remember. They're stories that are so compelling that when you realize that your friend has never heard the story before, you feel compelled to tell it to them again. Right? You don't want them to lose out. You need to know this story. So as I was thinking about coming to you today, I thought, man, what is my story? What is your story? What if my story could be that way, that it was interesting, that it was entertaining, that it could be thoughtful, it could teach? Well, the fact is, each one of us holds the pen to our own life's narrative. Right? Think about that, whether you write, paint, or think your story in your mind. And while we cannot control every plot twist or unforeseen event, we can choose how we respond. We can choose how we grow. We can choose how we craft every meaning from every chapter in the book that we're writing. So my 2025 challenge is, how am I going to make my life story worth telling? I'm going to leave that challenge with you too. What if we make our life stories worth telling this year? Amen. Amen. So how do we do that? So how do we craft that great story? How are stories written? Well, you know, great stories are not just written, they are rewritten, they are edited, they are refined until they shine with clarity and purpose. Think of any of your favorite books, right, or inspiring biographies. Behind its polished pages is an author who poured his or her soul into each sentence, revisiting the plot, sometimes erasing entire paragraphs, to create something extraordinary. I want my story to be extraordinary. And it's because the same is true for our lives, right? Our experiences, choices, and even our failures are chapters in our own personal books. But unlike a fixed manuscript, unlike this, Spirit, God, the divine, grants us the beautiful ability, the beautiful opportunity to revise, rewrite, and realign our story with the vision we hold in our hearts and within our own divine spark. Wow. to be light and love in this world. What if we approached our story that way? So as we think about that, sounds great, so how do we begin? Well, I'll tell you, a lot of the great authors will say, begin with the end in mind. Sound familiar? Because at the end of the day, we have no control about how our life began, right? None of us decide our family, our location, our talents, our appearances. We do not get to decide where we begin, but we all get to decide our endings. That's not an ending, but endings. We as spiritualists understand that particularly, right?
Yes.
It's just not an ending. So Stephen Covey would say in his 7 Habits of Highly Effective People that your most important work is always ahead of you, never behind you. Always ahead of you, never behind you. And then he'd also say his second habit was this: begin with the end in mind. The ending of your story is so important that you should begin with it, which is what all great authors do. J.K. Rowling knew that Harry Potter was going to face Voldemort and defeat him. And then she wrote the story, right? Tolkien, from the beginning of his classic, The Lord of the Rings, already decided that Frodo would succeed in destroying the ring. You know these stories as well as I do. For those of you who are a little more contemporary, George Lucas, before the day of shooting Star Wars Episode IV, A New Hope, he had already decided the redemptive end of an entire trilogy. Begin with the end in mind. Knowing how you want your story to end allows you to live each moment fully, right? Because we know where we're going, kind of, sort of. And we're devoting those moments to be the best who we can be in the light of love. Yeah. Because even if, let's be honest, we know it's going to change. It's not going to be easy. We're going to have good chapters and bad chapters. And so we need to evolve with it. And that's important. So what do you do with it? I love this quote by Jim Henson. He said, life is like a movie. Write your own ending. Keep believing. Keep pretending. Our imagination is the only thing that holds us back from being the divine spark that we know we are. And so what does it take to get to this point? Well, honestly, it's all on you. It's all on me. You are the producer, you are the writer, director, performer, producer, and critic of your own story. Lots of hats to wear, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of hats. But that means you're in control. Because the stories we create tell us everything there is to know about ourselves. If we're truly honest, if we're writing in our authentic voice, our authentic story. It gives us a place to understand why we exist in this world, our place in this world and the next. That is why we create them. It's part of our divine responsibility to God and his or her vision for us. So my question to me, my question to all of you, is that are you writing, acting, producing a story worth telling? I know we've got some actors in the audience here. Is your narrative one of love, forgiveness, resilience, purpose? Are you living in alignment with the story your soul yearns to tell? Or is your inner critic belittling or demeaning? Or empowering? If you don't like the answers to any of these questions, guess what? Free will, you have the power to change them. And so you take the next step. It's to really, the courage of the red pen. Anyone know what that means? Old school. It means you're going to get that red pen out and you're going to edit the heck out of your story. And remember back in school when you got your paper back and you saw more red than black and white? God. Well, sometimes you have to have that strength to edit your own story. It means removing parts of our story that no longer serves us. It holds us back. It means letting go of the comfortable, even though the comfortable is messy and icky and ugly and doesn't taste good. It's outdated beliefs, harmful habits, or even those relationships that hinder our growth. Remember, if it isn't serving the greater narrative, change it. Edit it out. So again, more questions to ask ourselves today. What parts of my story need editing? What parts of your stories need editing? Are there patterns? Are there old tapes, old scripts that are holding me back? Are there old chapters that I keep rereading because I'm addicted to them instead of turning the page? Because every day, ladies and gentlemen, my friends and family here, we have the opportunity to write a new page or a new chapter. But sometimes sometimes that red pen may not even be enough. So here's another challenge as part of this process. Sometimes you need to embrace as a spiritual practice the power of a total rewrite. Miss Ryder over here. Right? Because rewriting our story, because it's an act of spiritual strength. It's releasing something that is near and dear. It requires reflection, humility, and faith, Anne.
Amen. Amen.
The divine spirit within us offers guidance and inspiration as we step into this sacred task of rewriting. You've got to trust that your life is a canvas, a blank page at times, and every moment is an opportunity to reimagine and recreate the blessed being that you are. Even the great spiritual teachers of the world, Buddha, Jesus, countless mystics, show us the power of transformation, of the rewrite. They remind us that it is never too late to start anew, right? To write a fresh chapter, to crumple up that piece of paper and throw it in the metaphysical trash can, to become the person we are meant to be. That is their gift to us, and that needs to be the gift to ourselves. So yeah, we know that our lives have many chapters. We up and arc and have good stories and bad stories, but we know at the end of the day what we want to be, about light and love. And so one's bad chapter doesn't mean it's the end. It just turn the page, rewrite it, delete it if need be. But most importantly, I'm going to challenge you to this last step. You need to embrace your own story. Don't run away from it. It's easier sometimes too. I know I've certainly tried. And instead, our challenge is, as a part of owning our story, we embrace our own vulnerabilities, which is risky and painful at times, but not nearly as dangerous as giving up on love, belonging, joy. Those experiences that make us the most vulnerable, the most fragile. But I would argue that it is only when we are brave enough, I'm telling you, to explore the darkness of some of our chapters, will we discover the infinite power of our light, which doesn't need to conform to society's formula or expectations. In fact, don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 15. Who cares? This is your story, not theirs. Follow your path. Be the creator, not the victim or the bystander. And if you need to edit the characters out of your story, then do it. I've had to do a few, and it hurt. Sometimes we need to let them go. Because your destiny, your end point, the end of your story is never tied to anyone who leaves you. It doesn't mean they're bad people, right? It just means that their part in your story is over.
Amen.
Yeah, we all have those people. So I always get to this point and say, I have no clue what I just talked about. But let me see if I can at least circle up. First, I want you to understand that this was not about journaling and the physical act of writing. You understand that, right? Yeah. Okay. This is about giving you the ownership, the power, the permission to be your creator, your narrator. However you wish to craft and tell your story. As spiritualists, we know our stories never really end. They go on. This physical life to the next life, to who knows how many incarnations we may have. Our stories don't end on the last page. any more than they begin on the first page.
Wow.
There are sequels, trilogies, new editions, made-for-TV versions. We're spiritualists. I don't believe our story ends on this side. So here we are, poised on the precipice of a new year. And I'm not going to tell you not to do New Year's resolutions. Go for it. But I'd also ask you to perhaps embrace a new tradition. And that is to think of yourself as an award-winning author of your own story in your own voice, as a star and the hero, as a producer and director who determines how you interact with your supporting characters and your life events. Whatever that looks like to you. And fire that critic if he or she no longer serves you. Right? Because the most important thing to remember out of all of this, hopefully the one thing you take away from this, is that your most important chapters are always ahead of you. They're never behind you. So you can start now. There's no magic day. I know, I wait for January 1 to start my new journal. But I do know that we need to begin with the end in mind. We need to craft our story with intention and imagination. We need to edit it with courage. Darn that red pen. We need to rewrite it with faith. We need to own it. And we need to ensure that it is one of inspiration, transformation, and divine guidance. I've picked out my journal for 2025. And I promised myself that this year it is going to be filled with grand adventures, deep love, and bodacious goals. And extreme gratitude for the gifts from Spirit, because I am blessed.
Amen.
And I wish you all the same for this year. Thank you for allowing me to serve.
And now we're going to come to the part of our service that is our burning bowl ritual. I will give you a little bit of an introduction. Annamarie is going to lead us in a small meditation, which means it's not going to be very long, so you can't think way back to when you were born and so on. I'm just going with that. And then what's going to happen is, you see the bowls here. It's a burning bowl. It has a candle in it. You have a little piece of paper. You're going to visualize on that paper something that you want to release in your life. So this is an ancient ritual. It allows us an opportunity to release the past and invite in the new. Visualize what you want to release from the past year. Allow Spirit to bring you healing and harmony in the new year. So you use this paper square to represent something physical in your life or what you have experienced, like extra weight, a painful relationship, negative energy, or an old habit. It can also be stuck emotions that you wish to release. And perhaps it's time to let go of situations that are causing you regret. And during the meditation, you ask for help to find a new path forward, and you approach this ritual with thoughtful intention and an open heart. You must have honesty and willingness to change as keys to move on. And I'd like to express just a welcome to the people online. If you have a piece of paper, you would like to write a few things down about what you want to move on about. You can light a candle and think through that as visualization. This is something that is very profound in the way of you addressing something in your life or some things. It's better to stick with one when you've got to be in a presence of a lot of folks, but you can do this at home as well and take as long as you want. But I found it be very profound in my life. I remember writing this in a burning bowl ceremony, and they came around with a basket, a waste basket, and said, "All right, we're going to burn these." And I said, I can't do it. I'm still working on it. And my teacher turned to me and says, "Are you eternal?" And I said, "Yes." She says, "Throw it in the basket." And I can tell you, it was a release, because I was almost hanging on to it to a point where nothing was going to change as long as I had that. And when it did, I had to move on with my life in a different way. So I will ask Annamarie to come up here in just a minute, reminding you that afterwards we will process to the bowl. And she's going to give you a little instruction about that, but meaning everyone, because we have a small group, we can line up. And as you're walking forward, each step, it's like a labyrinth in a way. You think about it and you think the change you're going to make.
Can we just dim the lights so we can take a moment to get quiet and centered? Everyone just take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Breathe in through your nose, filling your lungs completely, and hold for a moment. And then exhale slowly through your mouth. Feel the tension begin to melt away with each breath, and becoming more open to the process of release. You are here to release negativity, to let go of anything that no longer serves you, and to invite positive energy into your life. With each breath, visualize a warm golden light surrounding you, filling your heart with a sense of peace and protection. This light is your inner strength, your resilience, your capacity for change. Feel that piece of paper in your hands and imagine written are all the negative thoughts, feelings, and experiences you wish to release. See the words clearly in your mind's eye. Acknowledge them and prepare to let them go. And as you let them go, you see this golden light growing brighter, filling every corner of your being with warmth and positivity. And as you come back to this moment and this space, as you prepare to come forward, know that you are also ready to move forward with a light heart. So now we invite you to begin the procession to the burning bowl, and with each step, quietly in your mind's eye, name your intention, specifically by thinking this one thought: I now release what no longer serves me.
So for final thoughts, you are a fresh whiteboard on which to write what you desire for the new year. Feel gratitude for having received the change in your life even before Spirit brings on the new. Gratitude powers the way forward. Open your heart and let Spirit flow in with the gratitude you are experiencing. Spirit loves you and wants you to be happy. Remember, as spiritualists, we believe we make our own happiness. Let go and let Spirit. Amen. And we ask for your blessings on us. Amen.